Hola, mi gente. Eric with Guapo Homes here today. I am super excited about this video, this special video that we've got with my good friend Calvin. And Calvin, you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Eric. I'm Calvin Boyd. I've known Eric for 15 years now. He's my youth group church leader, and we've just been friends ever since then. And yeah, we're just gonna talk some numbers, talk some finance, and see where that goes. Yeah, I'm excited.
Calvin loves finances, and I love selling houses and helping people understand that. And so he and I have been talking a lot, and he really has a passion for helping people understand numbers. Now, Calvin, you're not a licensed financial advisor or anything, right?
Correct. So we
Just
got
a dude.
Hashtag meet Kevin. Don't sue me, bro. Yeah, I'm not a professional, so.
Okay. You do this because you love it. You love to help people, right?
Correct.
Okay, awesome. I am a licensed realtor, and I do it because I love to help people, but also I do like to make money. So, but anyway, we're doing this just to help, just to teach, just to get awareness out there. And so one of the things that's on my mind a lot, and partially, the reason I think about like a rich dad versus a poor dad mindset, or an investment mindset versus consumer. A big part of the reason that's special to me is I spent a lot of time doing things the wrong way, doing things kind of the normal way, right? And even though I had training, I had teaching, like when I was, my parents, they taught me, don't use debt, and I went through Dave Ramsey's courses, which he's awesome, and I recommend checking him out. But I kind of grew up, I got out there and I was like, man, credit cards are all over the place. They're easy to get. And you can buy this cool thing now and not have to pay for a long time. And wait, 0% interest. Come on. There's all those things out there that make it so appealing. One of the things I'm going to mention a little bit later on is that just shocked me is that the average American has $500 a month in car payments is what I've heard. And that's just crazy if you think of that. People that I know, they're in their 50s and 60s now, and the entire time I've known them, their entire lives, they've always had that $500 car payment. So we'll get back to that in a little while. So what, Calvin, in your mind, what is a consumer mindset?
I guess it just boils down to buying into the mentality that you have to have all these things. Buying, like in the book, it talks about buying assets and understanding the difference between a liability and an asset and a depreciating asset. Some people look at a car and say, this is an investment, but I've driven the same Honda Civic that you saw me driving. The side door is broken. I got to climb through the other side because I can't get the lock to work. And I just look at the value of that money right now. And it's like you said, you can take that same $500, you plug it into a future value calculation and put it in a Roth IRA, and that's tax-free money. $500 over 30 years grows to $1 million. And it's just that mentality that if I want to make that one decision and say, I'm going to find a way to cut out my car payment. I'm going to shovel sidewalks when there's a blizzard out. I'm going to do whatever it takes to try to find a way to come up with that extra $500 and just make it happen. And all of a sudden, before you know it, with that compounding effect, you're a millionaire. So
exactly. Well, and so you say the compounding effect of your money. There's also the compounding effect negatively with your debt. I had the mindset of, I remember, I think the first time I went to it was US Cellular or AT&T, and I was looking at it's only X amount of dollars a month. It's only $80 a month. But wait, if you get insurance on your phone, it's only $10 a month. But wait, if you throw in this case, it's only, then they have their X amount a month. Oh, and if you can get a brand new $1,200 iPhone for only $25 a month. And you look at that and you're like, okay, cool. But if I take that same mindset and then I apply it to everything in my life, everything that I have, I'm like, okay, I can't afford to go out to, I don't have the cash to go out to eat, but I really want to go eat at Red Prime. I can use my credit card and it's only going to be, this amount a month. Or, hey, when I get paid next week, I'll use that money to pay off the credit card and we'll be good. I can't tell you during my time of insanity, I can't tell you how many times I told myself, hey, I'll use my credit card today. And then when the check comes in next week, I'll use that to pay off the credit card. But the thing is that never happens. And you end up in this cycle of just getting more and more and more behind where, it's just all, you end up just chasing yourself to try to keep up with your debt, as opposed to investing your money and making it work for you.
Yep.
And a lot of people, I think, have the mindset of, well, that's only for rich people. That, it's really possible for somebody even making $30,000 a year, $40,000 a year, they can definitely make it, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's just all about the commitment. It's all about the time. You treat the money, you pay yourself first is the terminology. You say, I'm going to take this small amount, I'll start with 4% of my income, 5% of my income. And you just take that and you treat it like your mortgage bill. It's $200 coming out every single month. If you take it out first, you barely even miss it. And if you are living actually paycheck to paycheck and you just actually don't have the money, then like I said, there's just so many options on the internet. There's so many options. You can mow yards. You can, everyone spends however many, what's the average amount of time spent watching Netflix in a day, like in a household, 10 hours a week, maybe 5 hours a week. Even if you take 2 of those hours, and you make $40, mowing a yard, that $40 a week adds up.
Mm-hmm.
Gets you to a point where you don't even realize how quickly you began to build wealth with the accumulation of that, And I also wanted to hit on what you said too, with how people feel like they don't have access. The knowledge that's out there, I have a finance degree from the University of Oklahoma. And even with that degree, I've opened my own brokerage. I've been managing my own investments for the past year. Learning how to do that, I really didn't learn any of that from my 4-year degree. It was really just, hey, I'm going to get on the internet and I'm going to do some research. I'm going to spend a couple hours. I'm just going to figure out what all this stuff is. What is a Roth IRA? What's a traditional IRA? What are the tax benefits? Okay, Roth, the money comes out tax-free. And then the traditional, I get an immediate tax break up front. Stuff like that. It's like, I never learned that in college. Nobody ever taught me that. You figure it out as you go, and the more you put into it, the more you'll get out of it. So it's so accessible, and anyone, I could set them up. Like I said, I'm not a professional, I'm not an expert, but if you came to me and said, hey, I have no idea about the stock market, I just say, all right, here's what you do. You find a brokerage like Vanguard or someone who has no entry cost to set up an account. You set up a Roth IRA. You set automatic deposits so that you're dollar cost averaging your money every single month, regardless of the market's high or low. It's just going in at a set time. So you catch the highs, you catch the lows, and you put it into a fund that either tracks like the total market, which would be like a VTI, a Vanguard Total Market Index, or you could do like just the S&P 500, top 500 companies in the United States. You're diversified, you're hitting the major parts of the market. Both those funds have averaged between an 8 to 10% return over the last however many 90 years. And so consistent returns over a long period of time. And it's that simple that everybody has access. There's no secret cheat code that you don't have to pay hundreds of dollars to this big fund to manage your money. It's just all about taking the time to put the research in.
Yeah. Well, and maybe the secret would be to ignore what the rest of the world is doing.
It really is.
You don't need to have, like a grill with diamonds in it. Like you can live without that, right? I don't know that people have grills anymore, but anyway, and you mentioned earlier, like that if you don't have enough money, there is time in the day to work more. Dave Ramsey talks about being gazelle intense, like you're being chased by a cheetah or something. So a predator's trying to kill you and you're like, man, I've got no choice but to work as hard as I can until I get out of this debt and get this mountain taken care of. I mean, people go on his show and it's like they had $300,000 in debt and they got out of it. But what they did is they what's his phrase? Live like no one else today, so that in the future you can live like no one else. Live and give like no one else, right?
Yeah.
And so there was somebody who DoorDash is so expensive, the food delivery services. Sorry guys, it's expensive. But I did that one time, and there was a mom and her 3 kids working together. Like, she hopped out of the car, brought the food up to my door, and her 3 kids were in the back seat of the SUV, just like playing on their tablets while she was doing DoorDash. So I was thinking, even if you're maybe even a single parent, there are some options out there where you can work extra, make some extra money, and not have to worry about the cost of babysitting, because that's a big thing. Is childcare is really expensive. So that $500 a month, I mean, my thought was, if I'm not spending that $500 a month towards cars, but I'm putting it into a Roth IRA, how many years would it take for me to have, like, say, $1 million in my Roth IRA?
Let's pull it up. Let's let you do the math. There it is.
Awesome. Oh, wait, that's not right. Let me get the spreadsheet pulled up. Oh, wait a minute. What's this? Guapo Homes? Man, that guy looks cool. Oh, look at that closing. Oh, man. Oh, sorry. Okay. So here is our spreadsheet.
Yeah, so answer to your question, you were saying, how long would it take to reach $1 million? You were looking at that $500. However you managed to find it, if that means driving the Honda Civic, the 06 Honda Civic, like Calvin did for 10 years, whether that means cutting out Starbucks, whether that means shoveling snow, whatever that means. You can just look at this. However you can get to that 500, whether that means driving the old Honda Civic like I did, or whether that means, shoveling snow, mowing lawns, cutting out your Netflix and your Hulu and your Disney Plus and all the monthly subscriptions, cutting those out. However you can get to that 500, because the math here is pretty crazy. So what we'll do, we'll look at a future value formula. So it's equal to FV.
Equals FV?
Yep. And then you're going to get your rate, which, looking at the S&P 500 over the last 100 years, averaged about a 10% return. So we can look at 10% and then just divide that by 12 to get you a monthly rate. So just do 10% divided by 12.
Okay.
Divided by 12, yep.
Okay.
And now we'd be looking at number of periods. And so periods on 30, so that would be, we can just do 30 times 12, which would be 360, or you can just multiply. Okay. There you go. And now we're looking at our payment. So that would be negative 500 because it's money coming out. So you would just do negative 500. Okay. Yep. And then do a comma. And then this would be your present value, which for this scenario, we'll just say you're starting from a base of 0. So you have no investments currently, and you're just going to treat that 500 a month for the next 30 years. Then you can just close it out with the final bracket. Okay. And then enter. And see where we're at. 1.1 million.
Okay, so that means, that translates to we're doing a $500 a month payment for 30 years. And that's where we're at currently with, like, interest rates and everything. And that specific fund of 10%. Return on your final thoughts, wisdom that you want to share with us before we wrap this call up?
I just say, just look at it in the long term. You sit down, look at your goals in the future, and all these are just based off assumptions. But if you have a plan and you know the reason behind, in a book I read, it calls it the why power. You understand the why power of what it is, what you're doing. It makes it a lot easier. You say, I'm looking out 30 years from now, you know, and where do I want to be? Do I want to be in a position where I'm 58 and I don't have a single dollar to save towards my retirement, you know? I bought into the mentality that everyone told me for my whole life. They said, you got to buy this nice car. You got to live in the moment, because why would you save for the future? You know, you're going to be in diapers. You're never going to be able to spend any of it. So why would you save? But then you get to that moment.
Say YOLO.
Yeah, you just YOLO it. And then you realize all of a sudden time flies by. You're 58 years old and you don't have any money saved. And you realize, like, what am I going to do for the next 20 years? I'm going to have to continue to work, and that's time. You know, that's time with your family. That's time that you don't have. That's Christmas is missed. And that's how I see it. You know, I look at that and say, I want to set myself up for success, and I will look in the future and I want to say, what's my life going to hold 30 years from now? And what does future Calvin want? Does future Calvin want today's Calvin to have bought all those Starbucks coffees? Probably not. He probably would have wanted them to invest it. And so if you're thinking in those terms of not just in the moment, but also looking in the future and then taking all those into consideration, it makes it a lot easier to make those decisions. So.
Yeah. Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome. Well, I appreciate it, Calvin. Hopefully we'll do a few more of these in the future. I'd love to get some more wisdom out of your financial brain. And, you know, my heart as a real estate agent, the reason that I got into real estate, it's in my family, but all of my family are realtors. We're the realtor dynasty. But anyway, but one of the big reasons I got in is the first realtor that I used when I bought my very first property didn't teach me anything, didn't explain how these things work, didn't really care about what was best for me. They just kind of heard what I said and they were like, okay, let's go look at these two houses. Okay, buy that one. You know, and that was it. And in the end, and they gave me some bad advice and, you know, around inspections. And in the end, it was a waste of time, you know, and we ended up wasting some money that we probably we would have been better spent elsewhere. And so that's my passion is I've learned through life by learning through mistakes. And I don't want other people to do that. I want to help them out. And so I love that you have that same heart for teaching people and helping them around finances. So if somebody wanted to contact you, could they reach out, or you want them to reach out to me and then I'll get them in contact with you if they had some questions around investing?
Yeah, that'd be great. They just reach out to me and we could schedule something. I meet with everyone, whoever wants to learn. I always tell this as a joke, but it's kind of true too. My wife, Caitlin, you know, Caitlin, she has this rule, only 30 minutes of talking numbers a day. Because once I get started talking and I pull up the spreadsheets, she just knows it's going to be an all day thing. So anyone I can to talk numbers with, I'm always down. So
my wife has the same rule with politics, but it's like 10 minutes a day.
Exactly.
So, very good. Cool. So if you have any questions around what we've talked about, or you want to pick Calvin's brain or just learn a little bit more about finances, reach out to him. Now, again, he's not a licensed financial advisor. He's a guy who has a good background in education and who has learned through doing. And so reach out to us. We'll get you connected with Calvin. And if you or a friend of yours or family or coworker or whoever is thinking of buying or selling a house, definitely have them reach out to me. I would love to sit down and have a conversation around the process, how it works, and get started in that area. So thank you so much. I do have one ask. Please, if you could, like or share this video, send it to your friends, send it to your grandma, send it to your neighbors, cousins, dogs, aunt. Please, I'd love to get the word out about what I do. My business thrives by people talking about me. So whether it's good or bad, hey, talk about me. Anyway, so Calvin, I want to say one more time, thank you so much for joining me today. And I hope this was some value. If you guys have any questions, comments, if you want to see more, if you want to see us talk about Dogecoin or whatever, let us know, and we'll get some more videos talking about this stuff. And just thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to the future. We'll see you guys. Bye.